like to speak for yourself from the crib, presented by Hyundai. Jason Whitlock, Marcellus Wiley. All right, let's go out to LeVar Arrington's crib and bring LeVarrington, as Uncle Jimmy likes to call him, into the conversation. All right, listen, Brady Quinn, our very own Brady Quinn of Fox Sports, had an interesting observation about Cam Newton, the former Carolina Panthers quarterback, who is now a free agent. Brady suggests Cam would be smart to wait until after the NFL draft to make a decision about where he plays next season, rather than making a decision before the draft and risk the opportunity of a team drafting a quarterback and their plans change. It's not a bad suggestion in my mind. Marcellus, what do you think of that strategy?
Oh, it's a great suggestion if you're Cam Newton, because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you get rear-ended by a draft choice. It doesn't even matter what round of that draft choice. Obviously, if it's higher, even more deadly to your career. But if you're Cam Newton, you want to see what the terrain looks like before you step into the building. You got to understand that ownership, management, they're always trying to get an ROI, return on investment, especially from draft choices. So we all can think about many cases. One that comes to mind is Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith. When you bring in a new Jim Harbaugh who has a Colin Kaepernick, despite Alex Smith being a winning quarterback for the 49ers at the time, what happens? You get hurt, they look for the other guy. I've seen it play out so many ways, even without injury. Being in San Diego and watching what Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers went through, Doug Flutie and Rob Johnson, keep going on and on. Basically, if you land somewhere and they're not fully invested in you, and especially if they drafted your position, you will get rear-ended, and they will bet on that return on investment, which is the forecast of a youngster over a proven Cam Newton.
LeVar?
Yeah, I have to disagree because, again, this is a luxury approach to being a free agent. We got health concern that it's plaguing his ability to be signed. Then there's signability. All right. Then now you're talking about he was not released at the time free agency began. So he's late to the game. Nobody's going to just wait to fill the needs of what you have for your team long beyond the opening of free agency. So he's been in a compromised position since being let go because of how late it was. So I don't see it being a good look to say wait, because honestly, the position he's in right now, he may have to go in as a backup to begin with. So I don't even think it is about getting rear-ended by somebody who gets drafted, because he may not go to a place where he's the starter coming in anyway.
LeVar, I think you make a decent point that kind of sways me a little bit, because when I first heard this, I was like, not bad, because again, someone drafts a quarterback. But I do think the situation is desperate enough for Cam that he needs to get in the door with somebody, start impressing those coaches, start impressing teammates with not just healthy, but right mindset, leader, all in. Because again, and some of this I'm joking, but I'm serious. These little shirtless videos he's putting out every day that I think he thinks is wowing football people. Look, I've been in NFL locker rooms as a journalist. Y'all lived in NFL locker rooms. Everybody in the NFL damn near looks good with their shirt off. Hell, Lincoln Kennedy and Jerry Ball look halfway decent with their shirt off. Cam's not really impressing anybody with his shirt off.
You a lie, Whitlock. Don't you say right. Lincoln Kennedy
shirt off pictures.
Jerry Ball did not look good with his shirts off.
Well, there's a lot of guys in the NFL locker room that look good with their shirt off. And so I just don't think he's impressing anybody with these deals. Cam, no one questions whether you look good with your shirt off, whether you run hard on a Stairmaster, whether you lift weights. We all know that. You were blessed by God. You got a good work ethic as it comes to the physical thing. We all know that. The issues, to me, are more between the ears. And the sooner you get signed to a team, the quicker you can start convincing people, not only is my physical body look great, but my mindset is also appropriate for the situation I'm in?
No, there's three ways you have to look at this. And LeVar brought up one. Cam Newton's a backup. If he's a backup, he's going to go to a situation where there's already a proven starter. And in that proven starter, wherever those situations are, he's going to be looked at as secondary. So he doesn't want to sign up to that. So there's only two other options. You sign up right now as a starter in a Miami or LA Chargers. But those are teams that are also looking to draft that rear end scenario where someone, Tua, Justin Herbert, whoever it may be, Justin Love, you draft one of those guys, and the next thing you know, Cam's a ticking time bomb. He knows it's over. So then there's only one more scenario where Cam can go somewhere and say, I'm Cam Newton. You're not going to draft at this position because I am a former MVP, and you're going to believe in me. That situation doesn't exist. So therefore, if you're Cam, your best option is to go somewhere where you really can have impact. And you won't know that until after the draft. So it's an unfortunate situation, the purest definition of dilemma, which is two bad choices. He has all bad choices around. But the best of those choices, the lesser of the evils, is to wait post-draft.
LeVar?
Again, I disagree. The best choice is to get on a roster. And whether you end up being a starter, whether you end up being a backup, whether you get rear-ended by a draft choice, you do not own the luxury of saying, I'm going to wait. I just do not see that taking place. And this kind of is a continuation of what I was unable to address, Marcellus, you saying yesterday about Cam and people wanting to see him perform, and you talking about his shirt being off with. Listen, he said it in the video. I'm not an underdog. I've never been an underdog. And to have the mentality that he has coming into this, I think is going to create some trepidation and signability and what his role represents moving forward. I will say that is a tad bit, it could be a tad bit concerning, some of the things that you're raising as issues going into, are we going to bring Cam Newton into our locker room and make him a part of our football team? So, again, he has to be willing and open to understanding that Cam Newton is now an underdog. And Cam Newton has to take the opportunity that is allotted to him within free agency to win a job, not come in as a starter. I don't see it that way.
LeVar, let's go back to when we played. LeVar, you ready for this? Okay. You were the second overall pick. I was a second round pick. And we all had teammates that used to say in the latter rounds, 5th, 6th, 7th round, man, it would have been better if I was a free agent draft choice. You know why? I would be able to pick where's the best situation I would get an opportunity to make this roster. We were afforded the luxury of being banked on and put on that roster regardless of how we perform. There are guys, and Cam Newton, crazy enough as it sounds, is in that position where he needs to navigate what that landscape looks like. He won't be able to have that full intel until post-draft.
But now you're talking about money, right? Now we're talking about money, and that's an entirely different conversation. If you come in at league minimum,
hey, listen, we got to wrap it up, but I do want to add this, and I say this in all seriousness. I'm going to side with LeVar. LeVar made a point that I can really relate to during this coronavirus quarantine. It's better to be on a roster than sitting out here single during this quarantine. I don't know if y'all can see how chapped my lips are, but I ain't never been this thirsty. My God. I'm buying stock in chapstick right now. Y'all got it good, bro. Y'all got it good.
I hear that part.
All right, stick around. LeVar's going to rejoin us next. We're going to talk about Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Speak for yourself from the crib, presented by Hyundai. More after this.